Hello YouTube, it's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking 90 Day to Single Life Season 5 Episode 7, The Art of Meddling. And this was a good this was a good episode. This episode gets an A because this was entertaining. They only had three couples, three people or whatever, however you want to put it in this episode. So we're going to start with Gino and Natalie. So remember what happened last week. Natalie made Gino confess that he was talking to other woman online, and she didn't really take that well. And I said last week she was actually in the wrong for reacting the way she did because they're not in a committed relationship. You just literally came back. So Gino went back home, but in this episode, in a surprise turn of events, Natalie comes out to Michigan. Now, I'm surprised she came back to Michigan because after what happened the last time she was in the state of Michigan, I figured she was not going to come out to Michigan to see Gino ever again, to be honest. But she said after long talks and some persuading and everything, I decided to give Gino another chance. So Natalie comes and Gina picks her up and everything. And they go out to this like monument park and they go to this like little like water fountain type thing where they get up and put their feet in the water and start splashing each other in the water and stuff. It was a really cute, playful day. Then Gino had a conversation with Natalie, said, listen, Natalie, I made a decision. I am not going to talk to other women online again. And she was like, okay, thank you. But what changed her mind? He was like, you know what? I really like you and I want to like try something with you and everything. So I'm not going to talk to other women anymore. And Natalie's happy, but she keeps saying that, she's still going to be on alert, and I respect Natalie for that and that she wants to still be on alert, but she likes that. So next thing, Gino asked Natalie, like, are you hungry? And she's like, yes, I'm hungry. And then he takes her to this fancy hot dog shop, basically. And while we were at the hot dog shop, guess who we run into? We run into Gino's Uncle Marco. Now, if y'all remember, I actually got to talk and interview Uncle Marco. And he was a trip. He was awesome. I love Gino's Uncle Marco. I had the privilege to talk to him and everything. He really liked me and stuff and everything. It was so cool when I got to talk to Uncle Marco. And so Uncle Marco was there. He got to meet Natalie and everything. And he was himself. He was like, you got a good one here, Gino. So much better than that other person. And everything. And like Uncle Marco asked, so what's going on? And then like Gina said, Natalie told Uncle Marco that, yeah, Gina said today that he doesn't want to talk to other girls anymore. He just wants to talk to me. He's like, whoa, what? And everything, okay. And everything. So Gino excuses himself and goes to the bathroom, and Natalie and Uncle Marco had a conversation. And Natalie asked Uncle Marco, like, what was your relationship like with Jasmine? And he said, she was a firecracker and everything. This and that. Natalie also asked Uncle Marco if, like, do you think Gino still has feelings for Natalie? And Uncle Marco was like flat, oh, heck no. Nope, not again whatsoever. And Gina comes back, he's like, well, you better get this divorce soon. And then they had a conversation about kids. Gina still wants to have kids and stuff. Natalie revealed she has a 21-year-old boy and a 23-year-old girl. I knew she had the boy. I did not know she had the second. I did not know she had another kid. Now, remind you, Natalie is in her mid-50s. She does not look like it. She does not look like it at all. She's in her mid-50s, looks really good for her age. And they had that conversation about kids. And Natalie was like, does your Uncle Marco not know that ship done sailed? And Gina wanted to give hope. Well, there's still chances. And then on Between the Sheets, they were talking about it and stuff and everything. But we just like, I don't know if Gina at nearly 60 years old would want to have a family and stuff and everything. But I think that was just a played out conversation, scripted conversation on that one. So as of right now, Gino and Natalie are in a good place. I don't know if they are together in modern life, basically. I hope they are. I like Natalie. I really like Natalie. I like Natalie better than Jasmine, clearly, and everything. Natalie ain't putting up with none of Gino's shenanigans, but she doesn't. But the difference with Natalie is that she doesn't have to be aggressive with it compared to Jasmine. Jasmine was so aggressive with it when she was mad at Gino. Natalie's just like, like screw this if it don't work out. So that's how you handle yourself with maturity. Just saying. So that was Gina and Natalie. Next couple I want to talk is, well, the person I want to talk is Kimberly. Now, we this is the moment that we've been waiting for since the first episode of the season. Kimberly and Jamal are finally meeting Kimberly's adopted son, Larry, and his wife and kids. Well, apparently they have already met before, but now we're meeting them for the first time and everything. They go to the park, and Kimberly wants to tell Larry about the sister that he has that she also gave up for adoption. So her and Jamal are preparing for it. Kim is having a big panic attack and like crying and everything, not knowing what's going to happen out of it. So they go to the park, and here comes Larry and his wife and their two kids. The two kids were so adorable. I think they call Kim like grandma, was it Mama Kim or Mama K or Mimi K or something like that. It was really cute and everything. So they sat down and have a conversation and everything, and then Jamal and Larry hung out for a little bit and just chatted, just getting reacquainted and everything. And then Kim finally breaks down and tells Larry to come sit beside her so she could tell him this. And so Kim tells Larry that you have a sister. I guess she don't even know her name. She doesn't know her name, but she only knows, she doesn't know her name or where she's at, but the only thing that she knows, it was a year after you. And so Kimberly starts crying, was really emotional. Jamal's getting emotional and everything. But Larry was like, yes, some of these things could be handled a better way, but I'm not going to hate you. And here's why I'm not going to hate you. And I'll give Jasmine this. On Between the Sheets, Jasmine got emotional watching this scene and said that, nobody understands what Kim is going through. You're not a bad person for putting somebody up for adoption. And Larry alluded to, if she hadn't done that, I wouldn't have, where my life wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I have a beautiful wife and two kids and everything. So I'm glad that you, yes, could have been done differently, yes, and everything. Is this a lot? Yes. But, I'm still grateful that you did it. And, nobody is judging Kim for doing this. We're judging how she did it, but not why she did it and everything. And listening to that, I feel like Larry is okay with it, basically. Now, Kim said that she wants help from Larry and Jamal to help find the sister, because now that's going to be their next project, is try to look for the sister now. And so after that, Kimberly said that, she's done filming, we're going back to the place to drink and just release and everything. So they do that. They played in the park with the kids and everything. Larry's oldest, gave her a hug and everything when she was crying. It's okay, Mimi K. It's okay. That was so beautiful. That was so sweet and stuff and everything. So yeah, that was beautiful. That was really beautiful. So yeah, that was Kimberly. And the last people we're gonna talk is the mess with Sophie and Pedro. Oh my God, we got into the episode that we've all been waiting for, the moment we've all been waiting for. It is Pedro's sister Nicole's birthday party, and Sophie and Julia are going to it. And this is a chance for Sophie to meet Nicole and Lydia. Imagine how you think this is going to go. So they prepare, and they get into the van to go. They're trying to prepare each other about it. Pedro jokingly told Sophie asked Pedro, if they don't like me, is it over? And Pedro was like, "Yep, bye bye." If they don't like you, because we seen it with Pedro and Chantel. Clearly none of the families got along with Pedro's family and Chantel's family. Nobody got along there, so everybody was just always yelling at each other one way or the other. I personally thought both families were crazy. I think Pedro's family is crazy. I think Chantel's family is crazy. So you put two crazies together, imagine what you're gonna get. So Sophie said on Between the Sheets that, she heard about what happened with Chantel, but, she took Pedro's side because, well, maybe Chantel was just being a bit much, but Sophie got to experience it firsthand. So they get to the party and everything and start enjoying themselves and everything. Julia meets Nicole first, and Julia and Nicole hit it off really well. Like, they hugged each other, and then later we seen them dancing each other, like twerking and stuff with them too. Like Julia and Nicole, they met there. That was cool. And then when Lydia and Nicole met Sophie, Lydia was like, "Nice to meet you" and everything, but Nicole was like, "Oh, so this is the famous Sophie. Oh man, you're stressing out my brother. Oh, this is the Sophie that's stressing out my brother." So she came in hot right out the gate. Like, oh, here we go, and everything. So after that introduction, obviously Sophie is feeling awkward about it. And then like she had a conversation with the mother, and they're joking around about why like she and Pedro haven't been intimate, and the word that they use, plantation or something like that, and everything, and talking about using the male area referred to as an egg or whatever and stuff. It was weird. I don't know why the mom, mother Lydia, like wanted to know those details, but it just made everything more awkward and everything. So after that conversation, Sophie and Lydia had a conversation, and Sophie told Lydia that she's still legally married, and Pedro's aware of that and everything, but we're not together. Like Sophie wanted to make this clear, like going to this party, that I'm here as Pedro's friend. We're not dating or anything, and I don't want y'all to think that we are dating, basically. And so Lydia, when Lydia heard that Sophie was still legally married, she said, well, this is wrong. You're still married and you're seeing another man. And I get that point. But a lot of people like to use that as a crutch all the time. But these people don't understand, when you go through a divorce, going through a divorce takes a long time. Like on paper, yes, you're legally separated and stuff. It's not like you're cheating on your spouse with somebody. You're legally separated, but the actual finalizing the divorce takes a long time, unless both people are just like, let's just screw it with no problems and everything. Let's just divorce like peacefully here. But it doesn't happen that easy all the time. Divorce takes a very, very long time and everything. So, and some people are just like sort of eager to get back in the dating field. And then when they find out they're still legally married, it's a turn off and stuff and everything. So I feel for Sophie on that matter, because like her and Rob are not together, but they're still legally married. So, but it is a pain because it takes a long time. So then later they go back to dancing and everything after that conversation. And then we turn to the conversation that we've been waiting for. Now it's time for Nicole to talk to Sophie. Now, mind you, this is Nicole's birthday party. And so Nicole and Sophie had a conversation. Julia leaves so they can have a talk and everything. And things got heated real quick. So Nicole told Sophie basically, like, I've heard my brother has told me a lot of things about you. Like he really likes you and everything, but he says that you're hot and cold. When I mean you're hot, then you've been cold, and you've been cold a lot since you've been here, and that worries me and everything. And she was like, when a woman is interested in a man, she does everything in her power to keep that man, to keep the interest and keep the spark going, basically. And Sophie was just like, well, respectfully, this ain't about you or your mom or anything and everything. This is his life, this and that and everything. And Nicole was just like, I'm just here to protect them. And then Sophie was like, well, you can be protective, but you don't have to be so hostile. And then they started raising their voice. And then Nicole was like, oh, no, you can't talk to me like that. Don't talk to me like that. And then Sophie was just like, why are you so involved with your brother's life? You guys are weird, blah, blah, blah. And like, Sophie, you're not a good person. Like, I know my mom. Like, and then Nicole kind of hit below the belt. She said, your mom doesn't love you, or something like that. I'm like, oh, because then between the sheets, Lydia even called out Nicole for saying that. She was like, I get you were mad in that moment, but that was wrong. You don't say that, and you need to apologize to Sophie. And she's like, my mom loves me. My mom would never be meddling in my relationships and everything. And I'm just like, lies, lies, lies. Remember Sophie's mom when she was with Rob, was always meddling. She was always starting stuff. She even went to jail because of her hatred towards Rob, for those like, she was making some kind of like threats and stuff and everything. She hated Rob so much that she went to jail for it and stuff. And she kept on calling Rob the knob and everything, and like trying to convince like Sophie to leave Rob and everything. She meddled in Sophie and Rob's relationship. So Sophie's lying when she says that her mom ain't like that. BS. Her mom was one of the worst. I'm sorry. Her mom was the worst, and she lying and everything. So then Sophie hit blood about too. So I don't care about you or your effing mom too. And she's like, my effing mom? And so I was like, oh, no, no. And then Nicole gets up and leaves. And Sophie's just like, yeah, you guys are a bunch of weirdos. Why y'all so worried about him all the time? You weirdos and everything. Now, here's my opinion on that. Unpopular opinion. Now, I get, yes, Nicole was wrong and hostile and everything, but unpopular opinion, Sophie wasn't a victim in that moment either, because Sophie did not handle that better. She, like, right out the gate, like, was just like, y'all don't have to be so involved and everything. This is his life and everything. This is the first time you're meeting the mom and the sister. Yes, they're a bit much. Yes, they're weird and stuff and everything, but you don't match their energy like that. Sophie matched Nicole and Lydia's energy, and that's why it ended the way it did. Like, and this is also still Nicole's birthday party and everything. I would have, in that situation, I would have been like, we're still trying to get to know each other, and everything. It's right now, it's just, it's a little complicated right now. I don't want to like get into full details, especially at your birthday party. I want you to enjoy your birthday party, but I'll be more than happy to talk about this later with you. Like, I want you to enjoy your day, enjoy this time and everything, and then we can have a conversation about it later. I think Sophie should have handled it like that, but she didn't. So even though, like I said, Nicole was wrong with what she was doing in her hostel, but Sophie didn't handle it good either. And I know that's about to be an unpopular opinion. Don't come at me in the comment section about it, but it's just the truth. I think Sophie handled that poorly, and that's why it ended the way it did. Just my opinion. So you get what you get. So we'll see how this all plays out next week. Now, we didn't see Liz in this episode. Like, they said that, Julia texted Liz, said they were going out again, but Liz didn't go. And I think on Between the Sheets, Liz said that dude Vea was supposed to be there, but he was supposed to go back to his hometown. But I guess he ended up staying with Liz for another night while the girls were out and stuff and everything. So Liz is just out living her best life down there. She's like, screw Sophie, screw Julia. I'm making the best out of this trip. So yeah. We also didn't see Vanya in this episode. We also didn't see Courtney and Colt in this episode. But judging by the previews of next week, we're going to get a surprise return of Mother Debbie, Courtney and Colt, to try to fix that relationship. So we're going to go from one crazy family to another manipulating family, because we all know how Mother Debbie is with Colt. So can't wait to see that. But anyway, guys, that is the end of my review. I thank you guys so much for watching. And to all my new subscribers, thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. I hope you guys enjoy my content. We got some big things coming up. I say that all the time, but I really mean it. Working on some things, trying to get some things cleared up for the future and everything. And yeah, like big things are happening to the Nathan Temp 2 page. And I just thank you guys all for your love and support. I tried to keep, and I say this all the time, I always try to keep my channel like less gossipy, just talk about the episode and the shows and get on out. I keep the comments, like I always ask for comments to be respectful and about the episode only and everything. So, and I appreciate you guys like following through with that and everything, because, I don't want this page to be a drama filled page, just a nice little calm critique of the episode. Say what you want about the episode and everything. Let's talk about these crazy people all the time. But again, I just thank you guys so much for your support. We're growing and we're getting there. So bear with me here. I'm gonna try to finish Age of Attraction this week, and then I do know I'm 100% sure I'm gonna be doing Love on the Spectrum next week. That's coming out next week. I'm 100% sure gonna do that. I might, at this point, I just might not even do Age of Attraction. Just hold off for Love on the Spectrum. So be on the lookout for that. And until then, I will be back on Sunday, Monday to do before the 90 days. So until then, y'all stay safe and have a good one. Love you guys. See y'all next week.